Hey Jeffrey and Kareen, I hope you're having a great new year. I hope the financial masterclass has gone well. Over the past few weeks, I've been diving into a whole bunch of our marketing, from social media, our database, our events, all sorts of things. And I have a plan for 2024. In December, I was talking to Kareen and Mitch about what our priorities would be for 2024. And we came up with three main priorities. One is to make sure we continue to have a great relationship with the list. Number two is to grow the list. And number three is to get more sales. So in that mindset, I kind of looked at everything that we have going on. And I'm really excited to share it with you. Basically, for every single one of those, I have created kind of a SWOT analysis. I've gone through some of our strengths, our weaknesses, opportunities, threats for each one, really focusing on the opportunities for 2024, and then obviously how I can support and help you in that process. So let's check that out. So the first priority is obviously a relationship with the list. You guys have built this list over time, and you can tell that you guys have really invested to having a great relationship, to really communicating in a way that people, that's genuine, that shows you care about people and that people care about you as well. I think there's three main strengths that I see that you have. Number one is consistency. You guys have built a following and a good list because you guys are consistently sending out the Tuesday newsletter. This is honestly, for many clients that I've worked with over the years, probably the number one challenge. They usually focus on short-term campaigns or just what's going to convert now, and then it's hard to get the longer-term back-end stuff. And what you guys have done is you guys have built a really solid base, and anyway, it's really been awesome for you. Specifically, one thing I did notice that I thought was really cool is that back in 2019, you imported your whole list, and some of our most engaged people are from that list, and that was like 4 years ago, maybe a little less, or actually no, 2024, yeah. So it was about 4 years ago. So anyway, you're still getting people that have been around for a long time to still consistently read your newsletter, consistently be interested in what you're promoting, your events and all that stuff. So great job. So I think the second strength that you have related to your relationship with your list is quality. Consistency is okay, but if you were consistently giving bad stuff, people wouldn't be interested in it. And so I think the high quality, just making sure that you are putting your heart and soul into the content that you provide, I think is awesome. You're obviously connected with the community, obviously connected with your clients. You have a very deep relationship there. So that quality has been really great, and you can tell just by the numbers. And the third strength is authenticity. You guys really care about the true relationship that you have, not just, saying that you have certain numbers or whatever like that. You guys really focus on the people. You can tell through your testimonials, you can tell that you guys are really authentic people, and obviously working with you, I know that as well. Okay, so let's talk about weaknesses. So I saw four main weaknesses. One is our complaint rate's a little higher lately, so we need to get that down. Number 2 is our lead tracking, where people are coming from, is not as consistent as it can be. Number 3, I think we can do better segmentation on a whole bunch of things, and I'll share that later. And number 4 is using multiple media. So starting to incorporate text and direct mail into our campaigns. The next one is threats. So I see 2 main kind of trends and threats that are starting to affect us. One is just making sure that our relationship with the internet service providers and the mail providers is good. So, Google is starting to increase some of their spam filters. Obviously, there's a lot of spam, but even more than that, there are, major phishing schemes and stuff like that, people trying to get sensitive information through email, and that's really why they're doing this. So you guys have a reputable company. We just need to make sure that that Google understands that. So making sure that we are consistently sending to the right people at the right time, and making sure that the content is relevant is important for that. Another trend is it's easier than ever to unsubscribe. So I know we've had clients even just lately that have been unsubscribed and they may not even realize it. And so those are a few things that, relying just on email is a little bit of a weakness, because if we don't have a good email, we don't have a way to deliver it, then it gets hard to communicate with our audience. All right, so now we're going to talk about opportunities. You may have noticed I flipped the threats and opportunities. I wanted to end with opportunities. So basically, I take the weaknesses that we have and we turn them into opportunities. So one of the things that we need to do is track leads better, segment better so that we are sending relevant messages and we're not bombarding people that may not be interested or have low engagement to get the complaint rate lower. We need to consistently get cell phones and physical addresses as well as a backup, and also start incorporating those into our campaigns. And then when it comes to segmenting, I think there's a lot of cool segmenting that we could do, and I'll just read it here. So some of these things we're already getting, we just need to start using them a little bit more. One is by role. Obviously a lot of different people are coming to the events and opting into the list, and just knowing what role they are is very helpful. Next one is buying activity. So this is how much they're buying, how often they're buying, what they're buying, the type of things in terms of categories, like if they're buying events, if they're buying webinars more, maybe they're buying peer group or stuff like that, just understanding that a little bit better. Next one is interests. So, in terms of categories that you guys talk about, making sure that we are tracking what people are interested in. Also challenges people are having, and specifically to their companies, the revenue and the number of employees. That way we can also create segments of maybe there's certain phases of a company that they're having certain challenges, and so maybe if they're smaller with a smaller team, they have a hard time delegating or having consistent sales or whatever like that to get to the next level. Or maybe in the mid-range they're having issues with building culture or whatever it may be. But just understanding that, I'm sure Jeffrey could tell us that there's different challenges for different phases of the businesses, and so we could definitely segment that way. And that's about it for relationship with the list. So I think there's obviously a few things we can do better there. You guys have done amazingly well. and that is definitely one of your guys' strong points, so good job. All right, so priority number 2 is grow the list. In looking at the database, one of the things that I noticed is that even if you spend a lot of time and effort on making sure that your list is great, over time people change their emails, they move on, whatever it may be, and so the numbers will go down. So just making sure that we're continuously adding is going to obviously help make sure that we continuously grow and that we have people to work with. Okay, let's talk about strengths. So I think your number one strength is that you are consistently creating, and you can see it on a lot of the platforms. I also noticed that we're spending a little bit more effort on platforms that are likely to have your audience more. So I think that's great. It's also really great that you are sharing not just really business boring stuff, that you're also having a personality and sharing some of your what you are doing, and the fun stuff you're doing, whether it's parties you're going to, family stuff you're doing, whatever that is. That's engaging as well. And also looking at the website, we do have very clear calls to action as in terms of being able to get on the newsletter, opting in for things. So I think those are our main strengths. All right, so a few weaknesses we have, and I'll get into the opportunities, the other side of the weaknesses, a little later. But one is not having enough calls to action on our content. Number 2 is I think we need more content overall. I think we need smaller pieces of content mixed with the larger pieces and drive those back to the website. I also think we can make the blogs a little bit better in terms of like how they're written, and embed the videos on them and stuff like that, and I can get to that later. And then 2, really looking at our SEO strategy and seeing how we can link internally and externally better in terms of just how people are navigating what they're looking for, how they can find more content when they're looking for that, I think would be good. And running ads. So I know we don't run many ads right now, but if we dial in the front end funnel a little bit better, we could justify spending money on ads and just bringing in more people consistently there. So one of the threats I see is just platforms change. They change over time, and I think there's 2 things to think there. One is whatever the platform currently is, it's not going to be, meaning that if there's an opportunity now, it's likely not to be the same opportunity in the future. And 2, the earlier you get traction on some of these things, the longer term benefit that you get. So just like you guys did with the newsletter, just understanding that some of these things can be long-term plays. Just understanding that having your content out there for a longer period of time on these platforms is usually a good idea. Having content that, and building that base in every place you can, I think is a good idea as well. So opportunities, using AI to help create more content. I'll show you guys an example of that. Adding multiple calls to action in our content. Maximizing LinkedIn engagement and sales. So just making sure that we are always up on the latest on LinkedIn, making sure that we are using LinkedIn to the max, because I think that's where our audience is likely to be the most. On the website, just making sure that we have a larger strategy when it comes to SEO, making sure that we are targeting the keywords that we need and creating content around that. specifically to that as well, just making sure that we're optimizing our highest trafficked pages. And so looking at our traffic and seeing where the traffic's coming in, what they're interested in, and making sure that those pages are really awesome. And running ads. So even if we just start with retargeting ads, meaning they're interested in an event or our website or something like that, that we can show those people ads to get them into the funnel, into the database. Hey guys, quickly, I just want to show you how I took one interview and turned it into probably about 45 pieces of content. First is you obviously have to have the interview. So I took the interview and you put it into YouTube. After you put it into YouTube, I used 3 different tools. One's like a text analysis tool, and 2 others are like video snippet creators. So it takes the full videos and it cuts them down into little video snippets based off of the words in the video. So it reads the words in the video, pulls out different ideas and quotes, and it puts it into small little videos. And so then you get a bunch of content. So for YouTube, you get title ideas, descriptions, hashtags, YouTube short clips. For the blog, you get title ideas, an SEO focused article, link ideas, category list so that you know how to categorize it, and also a PDF worksheet. Like if people want to dive deeper into that content, you can create a worksheet from it. For campaign email, you can once again have it be categorized, pull out different challenges, company revenue and size, and write an email to talk about those things. That way we can categorize it in different ways. Also with LinkedIn, it creates a bunch of short videos, posts, visualization ideas. So like take the content and give me ideas for different graphs and stuff like that to be able to create different images, and other image ideas as well with quotes. Also, this works for pretty much anything. So for Instagram, Facebook, and X, creating short videos, posts, visualization ideas, and image ideas for those as well. And basically just to get an idea, so if you post a blog, embed the video on the blog, get a blog written with these AI tools, you have a bunch of content there. You can also put a downloadable worksheet based off of the content, and then all your micro pieces of content. So this piece of content was 50 minutes, but these are all about 30 seconds to maybe about a minute and a half. People see these. If they're more interested in seeing the interview, then they come back to the blog. If they're not on our list, then they have the opportunity to actually opt in, which will grow our list. It also gives us email content by category, so we can basically create template emails for each of these pieces of content, and we can queue them up in different categories. So if somebody's interested in leadership related stuff, we can have emails go to them related to some leadership interviews you did, or peer group stuff, or management, marketing, whatever it may be. And we can even pull out clips related to those things so that we're delivering value pretty quickly to those people. That will give us higher engagement on our email list. So I know one of our biggest challenges has been just kind of focusing the effort, and I want to be able to help you guys with this. I think the timing is really awesome in terms of like these tools are really helpful. We can really systematize this process for you guys. You already create a lot of content. You have a lot of traction in the industry. I think it's really great time, and I would love to do more of this for you guys. All right, so the third priority is to sell more. Obviously, we want to make sure that we continue to have a great relationship with the list, so just trying to hardcore sell is not the best idea. Keeping in mind that people that are excited do want to buy, And so making sure that we're also serving the people that that want to engage further, that may not always see an opportunity to. So strengths I see, one, you have obviously a strong market position. You've been in the industry for a long time. You're very well respected. You are doing the newsletter consistently, which we've talked about. You have great long-term relationships, whether it's partners or just your peer groups and your clients over time. You're always creating high-quality content, and you always have something to promote. So you guys are always there's always an event coming. There's you're selling peer groups, coaching. There seems to always be something to promote. So I think that when it comes to selling more, you have really great pieces already in place. All right, so when it comes to selling more, I think your weaknesses are just when people opt in, there's not much after their opt-in to do. Considering that a lot of these people might come in really excited, trying to get as much information as they can obviously go to the website and blog, but I think just making sure that we support that on the thank you page and the emails following. So making sure that we have a great new lead sequence. So I think on the thank you page, just talking about peer group, having a call to action like, hey, cool, you opted in for that. You may be interested in our peer groups. I think that's how we provide the best value, and that's what people love. So let me tell you a little bit more about how our peer groups work. I think that would be really great. And then we can invite them to get on a call, and then we can use the new lead sequence to have that relationship, to build that relationship in terms of what we want them to know about us in the first few days. That will help everything else beyond that. So making sure that our positioning is clear, the things that you think people know about you already, that we are sharing that stuff, because generally people don't know as much as we think they know. And so just making sure that we're doing that. And just making sure that we are clearly focused on, hey, peer group's awesome, check it out. And also making sure that we are getting more information from them. So making sure we're asking for what their role, and I'm not talking about the first page, but like on the thank you page, asking for what their role is in the company, maybe some of the challenges that they're having, questions that they might be having, interests they might be having at the time, and just making sure that we're supporting them so that actually helps us on the back end be able to give them better content. And then we can also cater the messages to, like, for example, if it's peer group and we know that they are a certain company size with a certain number of employees, we can cater the message specifically to people of that size. And so instead of just saying, hey, join the peer group, it's great and here's why, we can say it's really great for people in this phase of business because blah 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 blah, and we can be a little bit more specific. And this would be all systematic. So instead of just thinking like, hey, we have our peer group coming up, let's make sure that we're promoting it, this should give us a constant queue of people that are interested in peer group. I would say when it comes to threats, the main thing I see is just, if we're not able to deliver messages to people, then obviously that's a problem. So making sure that we are consistently asking for phone, for mailing address, business name, website, all that stuff, anything that will help us be able to get them a message. So through email, great, through text, great, mailing address as well, just making sure that we always have channels to do that, and also inviting people to connect with us on social media. So I talked about basically all this stuff, but just making sure that we're delivering quality content, and we're segmenting, making sure we have a clear goal for people when they enter into our world, and making sure that we're clear on what we want them to know, what we want them to know about us specifically as well. One also thing to consider is having on-site chat. So on your website, we can create a chat, or we can set up a chat so that Mitch can answer questions. Sometimes people hit the website, they may have specific questions, and if they don't see them answered, then they bounce. And so chat is just a good way to support. Sometimes people will come to a sales page and they'll have one little question that otherwise they would buy, and so chat just helps the sale. And chat doesn't necessarily have to be chat on the site. Like, that's how they engage with it, but it would be chat. You can do chat through text as well. So for them, it's text, and for us, we would just be able to manage the chats internally. And so then any questions people have or whatever, we can do that. And then sometimes that just helps us notice things that we missed as well, and we can add to the sales messages that we have. Yeah, and I just want to, there's a process that I think would work really well for you guys in terms of product creation and targeted clients based on product interest. So basically getting clients in that are specifically interested in certain things that you guys do a lot, and I'll show you specifically what that looks like. This is a way to get like-minded clients. So if you think about every single event you do, it attracts a certain type of client. So for example, if you're doing the financial masterclass, it attracts somebody that's interested in their finances, interested in making sure that they're financially healthy. And you've done all the research and everything like that to be able to teach that, to be able to share the information. And so if you get more clients that see that you have expertise in that, it makes your life easier, because then you can kind of keep your topics consistent. So I'll just give you an example here. So if you do a financial masterclass, you're doing the live training, right? It could be in person, it could be online, but either way, you're doing the training. In order to get people to the training, you promote it, and then usually in preparation for the training, you're doing some sort of research. I know you guys also compile financial reports for people, stuff like that. But either way, there's a lot of kind of pieces you put together in order to make an effective training. Now, so people pay for this, and obviously in a way they pay for your research. If you record this, then it can turn into a few things. One, you can sell the video. You can package up the research in a way that's kind of digestible. It could be examples, it could be other stuff, but anyway, just support documents. And then you have also a transcript. So you basically take this and you create a transcript as well. So now you have kind of a packaged thing that you can sell. Usually you can sell it for multiple $100s with that, put it all together, printed, however you want to do it. You can do it all digitally as well, deliver it digitally. There's an option for that to be a product. I know you guys do one every year. So also it's a good idea to take, you're not selling it as this past event, you're selling it as its own thing related to financial stuff. And you may add other resources with it as well, but basically it's kind of all packaged together. You don't have to sell it as a product. It could also just be something that you offer in different ways. But because you sold it here, probably a good idea at least sell it for something, because then you won't make these people mad. So you got a product now. It's not date specific, so you're not selling last year's event. It's just, something financially related, right? And then what you do is you can take all this information. It could be the training with the research and the transcript. It could also be client interviews. It could be something packaged together, but basically you take all that and you create some sort of book. What the book is basically a sales letter to get people interested in the financial masterclass to buy the product, or just to be interested in that topic to come in, right? Because everybody comes for different reasons. And then with all of this, you have a whole bunch of little pieces. We can take a bunch of little snippets of content from all these things, and then we can promote it and drive people back. So that way you promote the event up here, but you're also promoting the assets after. And then internally with our list, you always have, if somebody's interested in financial stuff, instead of saying, wait till the next financial masterclass, you can also offer them this as part of that. Or even for the next financial masterclass, you can package this in as part of the package. And so it just gives you options. Dan Kennedy uses this process. The reason he likes it is because if he does the work to be able to create all these assets here, what a book does is just create more clients that are easy to work with because he's already done most of the heavy lifting here. So just a process I want to share with you guys. Relatively easy, especially with these AI tools, to be able to create, and ultimately it'll get you more clients. All right, so the last thing I want to address is how we're going to support you as a team. I know this past year there were a couple months where we didn't do as well as we could have. We didn't communicate with you as well as we could have. And this year, I want to make sure that we are communicating with you consistently, that we get back to you within 24 hours of any email, that we respond to you same day if you text us. And then beyond that, just making sure that we're prepared for the meetings, that we have agendas, that we're following up on tasks. Also that we're sending the meeting minutes after. And then we've already started to create some dashboards so that we can focus on the numbers that we want to focus on. But just, we want to be proactive with everything we're doing. And also, my plan is that we can be more engaged with you overall into the holistic part of the marketing. And really just from start to end, we can make sure that we are always engaged and providing the most value to you. So I wanted to thank you for listening, and I'll see you on Tuesday.